It's the beginning of August 2023. We're entering the final year of Tyler Myers' contract with the Vancouver Canucks, which sees him making an average annual value of $6 million a year. This contract was signed back in 2019, and it's been so bad. Realistically, I mean, Tyler Myers is not the worst player to have suited up for this team, but he certainly hasn't been the best, and even though we had ourselves a conversation earlier on in the offseason talking about how this guy almost got traded to the Sharks, today we are bringing up the idea as to whether or not he could still get traded to the Sharks. Now, that was kind of a very blunt, in-your-face type of intro, but Tyler Myers, as we had said, 33 years old, 6'8", 229 right-handed defenseman. He was, at a time, the tallest player in the NHL after Chara retired, but then you had Elmer Soderblom make his debut with the Red Wings just a few moments after that, so while Tyler Myers is one of, if not the absolute biggest players in the entire National Hockey League, he certainly has not played like a $6 million player. He's big, he's right-handed, that's kind of why he got the money. But when it comes to the way Myers has played for Vancouver, you could see the points. I mean, they're there. We're not really going out there and expecting Myers to get a boatload of points anyway, but he did have 17 in 78 games last year. But last we talked about Myers, we discussed the idea of him getting traded over to San Jose in some sort of a move where the Vancouver Canucks would acquire another contract that wasn't all too favorable. Kevin Labanc, forward on the team, you could say he's overpaid, you could say he's a middle six winger, and the savings that Canucks would have on their cap would be just around $1 million and a bit-ish in money. Not really the best contract to get on, but of course it's a tad cheaper. Now, when it comes to the reception, I kind of said in my video last time that it wouldn't really actually make sense for the Canucks to do this. Like, the dollar amount savings, about 1.3 mil, wasn't worth saving just to get rid of a defenseman that could honestly be a pretty okay bottom-pairing guy in Tyler Myers and acquire another winger in the process. The fact is, the Vancouver Canucks have way too many wingers already, a bulk of these guys are already overpaid, and as a result, you don't want to get Kevin Labanc, unless you're going out there and really just hammering down the nails in the coffin of Nils Höglander and Podkolzin's development next year. Acquiring a player like Labanc doesn't really improve your hockey team. And if you're losing out on Tyler Myers, sure, we make all the jokes about how he's a pylon and how he's slow, he doesn't hit, he's this, he's that, but at the end of the day, the decor looks better with him than without him, because a lot of the guys that could replace Myers in the Abbotsford system or in other parts of the Canucks depth chart, they just don't have the same poise and longevity in the NHL as Tyler Myers has exhibited. Sure, Myers has his bad moments, 100%. We goof on this guy all the time. But I'd be lying if I said he wasn't an NHL caliber defender. Now, with this in mind, today I wanted to go over to Harman Dale's recent piece on The Athletic and just go over what the update is or what he writes about in regards to this Myers conversation. Tyler Myers trade possibilities. Will the Canucks PK be okay? This is your mailbag from July 28th, 2023. Now again, because The Athletic is paid for material, we're not going to go ahead and screenshot this. The link is in the description if you want to read it yourself, but instead we're going to be screenshotting Spectre's Hockey and the post made by Lyle Richardson on August 2, so yesterday. What Richardson does is he summarizes the ideas made by Dale in the Tyler Myers piece. Do the Canucks have a trade in place to get rid of Myers? In a recent mailbag segment, Harman Dale was asked about the rumors claiming that the Vancouver Canucks already have a trade in place for Myers, but are waiting to announce it after his signing bonus is paid next month. Dale recalled Daily Faceoff's Frank Saravalli reporting in late June the Canucks had a deal on the table to send Myers to the San Jose Sharks. This, however, was denied by Canucks GM Patrick Allvin as well as Myers' agent JP Barry. Saravalli clarified that the deal would have sent Myers to San Jose in exchange for winger Kevin Labanc. Dale writes that Myers' future feels like a wait-and-see scenario for several reasons. One is the Sharks' effort to trade defenseman Erik Karlsson. The Canucks might also prefer seeing how their other right-shot blue liners fare during training camp. Myers' 10-team no-trade clause also complicates things. Spectre's note goes out there and writes this, that Myers' situation could be resolved before the end of September. We'll know by that point if the Canucks indeed move him or not. Now, we're going to have a few other videos over the next few days just talking about the Canucks themselves, talking about the team, talking about what the new additions add, what type of value they bring, and what the other players that are already on this team can bring to the table too. But when it comes to the idea of Tyler Myers and a potential trade, That signing bonus that we had been alluding to this entire time has been the kicker in every single conversation that people seem to be having about this guy, at least in the media. If you take a look at Tyler Myers and his cap-friendly page, you'll see that for the last deal, or last season of his deal, 2023-2024, the AAV is $6 million, yes, but the base salary is only $1 million. He's got $5 million in salary bonuses that will be paid at the start of the year, and then the rest of that $1 million base salary will be paid to him throughout the course of 23-24, the actual hockey season. So, if there is a deal where a team in the NHL is going to take on Tyler Myers, it would be in their best interest for this trade to happen after the salary bonuses are paid. The bonuses occur once at a predetermined point in the year, and once that lump sum payment of $5 million is sent over, then okay, that's $5 million you don't need to worry about because he already got it. If an NHL team goes out there and gets Myers after this bonus is paid, they don't have to pay that money, so they can make some savings on their own right. Not in terms of AAV, but just in terms of the cash within the business. You can see there's a difference there. But either way, the idea of Tyler Myers getting sent over in any sort of a trade is very intriguing because a lot of these teams that have been building over the past few weeks, they seem to be quote-unquote done, for lack of a better term. Sure, there are some teams that still have some players to sign, and there are RFAs that need contracts, and there are still some other UFAs on the market, but all things considered, a lot of these teams have been building themselves up to a point where now it's difficult to really add on extra big pieces. The San Jose Sharks, for example, have $5.6 million in projected cap space at the time of recording this audio. If you send over Myers and his $6 million, they go over the cap. Now, the Canucks would need to get somebody back. If it still is that Kevin LeBanc deal, then I honestly don't think it's worth it for them to consider that. But if you're able to get Myers away from this team for free, let's say the Canucks trade him just for a 7th round pick, something like that, that's not really valuable at all, then hey, what are the Canucks going to do upon receiving $6 million of free salary cap space for 23-24? Are there any options for them to explore what else they could do? Do you want to go out there and sign another guy in free agency? Patrick Kane still needs a deal. I mean, there is a lot of potential here for movement. It's just because of the restrictions as to other teams already building up their squad, doing a lot of work in July. It's the start of August, so we're in the smack dab middle of the summer. A lot of these teams have sort of settled into what they wanted to do. It's going to be intriguing to see if the Canucks actually do have options here and what they'll try to do, assuming they could actually make a Myers trade work sometime before the season starts. Now, if Myers is actually on the team in 23-24 for the entire year, he plays out the last year of his deal, maybe gets traded at the deadline or something, who really knows if that happens or not. If Tyler Myers ends up playing throughout the year, I honestly wouldn't find that to be the worst case scenario. At the very least, he's not going to be overplayed like he had been in the past, and as I said, we have more videos coming out just talking about the team in general, but long story short, the terrible resume that we have seen out of Myers, the pylons, the bad stats, the stints where he's just diving out there on the ice, letting the other team just go around him, hopefully, these are going to reduce themselves in 23-24 because there are more players that are actually worth giving ice time to instead of just Myers, Hughes, and I guess you could say OEL. So while there is an idea that says that he could get traded, and while I wouldn't disagree that there are better players than Myers that the Canucks could probably get, this is still a guy that is NHL caliber at the very least. So if they were not able to trade him, he was forced to play for Vancouver 23-24, then honestly, it's not the worst deal in the world. But we'll see where exactly things go from here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the idea of Tyler Myers getting traded? What are your thoughts on the idea that there still might be a trade on the table that either team, the Canucks or the Sharks or any other team involved, just hasn't pulled the trigger on yet? What are your thoughts on how this could look like if it does get done? Do you think it's just the salary cap bonuses that are being held up here? Or not salary cap bonuses, just salary bonuses in general. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.